The average person spends 2.5 hours every day on social media. And so if you find yourself saying you don't have the time to do something, it usually means you don't have the motivation or the discipline to spend time on that thing. So today I'll be talking about 4 very small things that I started doing last year that helped me find pockets of time throughout my day that I didn't know I had. And doing these things is what helped me work a full-time job, run this YouTube channel, manage a property project, and try a lot of different side hustles whilst also having some sort of social life. It can be done, so let's get into how you can stay committed to allocating your time on the right things. Number 1, turn on flight mode. This is arguably the most important one on the list, and having just this one thing under control will make such a difference to your productivity. It's scientifically proven that dopamine has a direct impact on the decisions we make and the actions we take, and our surroundings have been constructed to tap into this reward system that we have. Huge companies are designing their products to release as much dopamine as possible in order to keep us coming back for more and more. And the worst part of it is that to indulge in these sources of instant gratification, it takes us zero effort. We can literally sit on a sofa or sit in bed and consume, and we are rewarded with massive hits of dopamine for doing nothing. And this will hijack your time and energy as much as you let it. When I started tracking my screen time, and you can literally do this by searching screen time on the top screen of your iPhone, and it will show you how many hours you spend and on which app. And when I started seeing how much time I was wasting, I did 2 things. The first thing was conscious scrolling. What I mean by this is understand how you feel after using your phone. Dopamine doesn't know what's good for us and what isn't, so it's up to us to differentiate. When I feed my mind with purposeful, inspiring materials, I feel motivated, I feel inspired, and on the days I'm mindlessly scrolling, I feel drained and I feel like I've got myself in a rut and I'm being unproductive. Thinking about how you feel after using your phone is a really strong indicator of whether or not you're consuming the right content for yourself. And if it's not making you feel uplifted, then change up what you're seeing in your feed and make the decision to unfollow things that aren't adding value to your life. The second thing I did is use personal mode. I've set this up so it's automatic. Between a certain time every day, pretty much between 9 to 5, my phone turns itself on personal mode. And so I won't get any notifications unless I actively go into these apps and check the notification myself. And if I'm taking things really seriously or if I have a really busy day, I'll put my phone into another room altogether, completely out of sight. And I've seen people take this one step further and put it in a jar or put their phone and lock it up in a cupboard. So whatever floats your boat, to make sure your phone isn't going to distract you or you're not going to keep picking it up whilst you're working. Number 2, make it a no-brainer. You want to pair the habit that you are trying to build, which is often difficult to start with because it requires motivation, it requires discipline, and it requires willpower. And you want to pair that thing with something that you like to do. And this is especially important in the early days when you're trying to build a new habit, because that thing hasn't yet built an automatic neural pathway yet. I actually want to show you how I use this. I want to show you my work from home setup. If you look at this room, what do you notice? Something about the position, something about the way it's set up, something about where everything is placed. And this was done on purpose. There is something James Clear says in the book, The Atomic Habits, and he says that our desires and our environment often influence our habits. We want things simply because they're an option in front of us at the time. And he uses the example of how our living rooms are set up. If you walk into your living room, very likely your couch is facing the TV, which makes it a no-brainer for you to come home after a day of work, sit on the sofa, turn on the TV. It encourages that habit. And so now going back to my office space again, or my work from home setup, the first thing that you see, and the thing that the whole room is essentially based around, is my desk. It's a feature of this room. It's almost the sole focus of the room. It has the best view and everything else faces it. And it has completely changed my mindset by shifting this all up, and it's had an impact on my motivation. I don't have any resistance in me just sitting down and getting to work, because this is one of the nicest areas in the flat. I enjoy being in here. To make more money and be productive and work on your business, which requires a lot of self-discipline, you want to set up your environment to make that process enjoyable. And that takes care of a lot of the motivation that you need. And because I spend a lot of my time working and getting carried away in this place, I then end up working myself to a point where I forget to eat. And I end up skipping a meal, which is just not good. So now a product that has helped me solve this issue and makes it a no-brainer for me to get my nutritional meal in every day is Huel, who are sponsoring this video. If you've watched my other videos, you know I have been consuming Huel products since way before I started this YouTube channel. And in the past year, as my workload has just ramped up, it's been the thing that's helped me stay on top of everything, stay disciplined. It's helped me stay committed to what I said I was going to do, whilst also getting all my vitamins and minerals into my diet. I keep the ready to drink on my desk, which makes it a no-brainer for me to make sure I'm getting my nutritionally complete meal every day. It comes in 8 different flavors, my personal favorite being the berry and the iced coffee caramel. It's also gluten-free, it's low in sugar, and it's plant-based. So if you're like me and you're someone who just wants to get everything that you need into your diet while spending the least possible time thinking about it, then this is a no-brainer. If you want to try it out, there's a link in the description box below. And with your first order, you also get a free t-shirt. Right, now I'm energized. Let's get to point 3. Number 3, time blocking the night before. When I know I'm going to be busy and I have a lot to get done, I time block absolutely everything. I set aside 2 slots to check my emails. I schedule in my break. I schedule in when I need to return a parcel. I go as far as scheduling when I need to drink water. If it's not in my schedule, I'm probably going to forget about it or it's not going to happen. And I do this for 2 reasons. First, only 2% of the world's population can actually multitask. And researchers say that when we hear this statistic, the other 98% of us think that we are the ones that fall into that 2%. But the truth is, just by focusing on one thing at a time and having a specific time allocated to it, you can really work deeply and our focus and productivity increases. And the second reason I do it is because it helps me focus on types of tasks based on the zone or the mood I'm in. So again, research shows that we are not good at doing creative and logical tasks at the same time. So I have a time block, usually in the mornings for my creative tasks, like researching YouTube, creating a thumbnail, and then having another time block for my logical or admin tasks that uses a different part of my brain. Doing this and separating these tasks out helps me fully immerse myself in whatever the task is. Ideally, I'll spend a few minutes blocking out my key tasks for the next day, the night before. So that is one less thing I have to worry about in the morning. Knowing your priorities and what your day looks like ahead of time will help you focus on executing the task rather than deciding what to do next. Number 4, choose yourself first. If you've watched my videos, you know I go on about paying yourself first. Before you do anything else, before you pay for your social plans, before you pay for your travel, you want to pay yourself. You want to take 10% minimum from your paycheck the day it comes in and put it aside for your investments or savings. By doing this, you're choosing yourself. And the same thing goes for your time. You can either choose to start your day checking your emails and doing everyone else's priorities and what they want you to do, or you can choose yourself and start the day by doing the things that will make the most difference to you. If your manager asks you to do something by 10 a.m., you'll do everything in your power to make sure that thing is done and completed by 10 a.m. You'll show up and you will deliver for the company you work for. But when it comes to doing something for yourself, that one task that you need to do to take your project to the next stage, you're most likely going to make up a million different excuses. But you want to prioritize your tasks and do it first. Wake up a little bit earlier and commit to getting that thing done before you check your emails or before you check your notifications, before you let anyone else enter into your mental space. Getting into the habit of choosing yourself is one of the most important things you can do to make sure you're living according to your own values and working towards your own goals rather than helping someone else achieve theirs. So those are 4 small things and 4 small habits you can change and implement to make sure you're making the most out of your day, make sure you're being productive and focusing on the things that will matter and will have the biggest impact on where you are now and where you'll be this time next year. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. This isn't my usual kind of video, but if you like it, let me know and I can make more of these videos on self-development, and see you next week.